welcome to the channel. Now, if you're familiar with myself and some of the videos that I do produce on this channel, you'll know that I do quite a bit of Wireshark videos because I really enjoy it. So today what I'm going to be showing you is talking a little bit about versioning. I send out scan to a particular port on a target machine. When I get the data back or a response from my target, I'm shown a version for whatever service I am looking at. But let's go a little bit deeper and let's actually look at this communication. Let's look at the actual packets and what they're telling us. My lab setup is I've got a Kali machine here, and then I've got a Metasploitable machine. It's one of my favorite machines to just do random testing on, and we can verify that we can reach it. We got some ICMP back, and so it's on this host only network that I've got set up. Let's go ahead and start a capture filter, but specifically looking for communications coming from my Kali machine. Start a new capture. We like it. And we are going to do a really common port, which is FTP. Okay. Very quickly, we're going to be using our version scan, and we're going to be doing a port 21, and we'll be working with our particular target, Metasploitable. Okay, awesome. The scan is done. We only did one port, and we can see that our response is VSFTPD 2.3.4. Now that's great because this is a very well-known version of FTP that is also very well known to be exploitable. Let's go and take a peek at our Wireshark capture here. Let's explain a little bit what's going on here. So we can disregard this DNS and ICMP stuff here, but what we have is what NMAP does, unless you tell it not to. It's going to do some host discovery. It's going to say, well, who, like right here, who has the IP address of 1.2? Tell 1.73, and 73 in this case is in fact our scanning machine. Okay, and then we get a response back saying 1.2 is at this MAC address. NMAP at this point is going to save that information, and it's going to be using that as a list to say these are the machines that we're going to scan. I only did one machine. If I had done an entire subnet, I would actually have quite a bit more ARP traffic showing up. We have on packet 9 here, a SYN packet was sent to port 21 on our target machine 1.2. Okay, and because the port is in fact open on the target server, it responds back with a SYN ACK. Now that communication right there tells my Kali machine that this port is open, we're good to go, let's continue on with the versioning. Kali at that point is going to send a reset flag. So this is very similar to just a regular scan that we can run through NMAP, sort of like a stealth scan where it has the first two. If it's open, bingo bango, we kill it and move on to the next port. However, we're not going to stop there with just detecting that the port's open. We are at this point actually going to fully connect to our target machine. Packets 12, 13, and 14, we can see the three-way handshake in action. SYN ACK, and ACK, and then 1.2, we've established a connection at this point, okay? And 1.2, our Metasploitable machine in packet 15, is going to respond to that connection, and it's going to state what the version is of the service that we're trying to connect to. Is that NMAP is actually doing what we call a banner grab, and it's saying, hey, I want to connect to you. We briefly connect for a moment in time, long enough for the target machine, which is 1.2, to tell the sending machine, hey, I am this version of software on your target that you're trying to reach. And because our scan finished, it did close the connection, so that's why we have a fin ACK on packet, and we're actually good to go. And that's what happens when we do a version control. We're actually doing a sort of a fancy banner grab. If I were to do, let's say, this command, where we're doing the entire subnet, we're going to see a lot more traffic happening. For one, a lot more ARP traffic is going to be visible. So right now we just have these two. We would only be doing port 21 though. So everything that we see in this capture would have to be repeated the number of times that a host is discovered. Obviously, if the port is closed on the target, there is no 21, then we're just going to get a reset, and NMAP's going to say, well, great, that port's closed, let's just keep moving. We're happy here. Okay. I think that's really cool. Let's prove a point here that versioning is happening and a banner grab is occurring. Let's actually do something else. Let's do a quick netcat of our target. I'm going to use netcat, and I'm going to have a target IP address, and specifically I want to connect to port 21. Now let's see if we can actually determine a version from our target machine with just a simple netcat. Perfect. Look at that. Awesome. Hey, let's go ahead and actually do the same process again, but let's do it on a different port. Another really common port is port 22, and we know that that's a common protocol called SSH. So let's start our capture again. Bring back my NMAP scan, but this time change it to port 22 and launch it. So right away we can see our two ARP traffic coming in saying, okay, I want to know who has 1.2. Okay, boom, we're good. Let's stop our capture. Scan is done, and we can see right away that the version is OpenSSH 4.7 P1. And that's great. Let's jump on over here to our capture, and let's go through again sort of the process that we saw before with FTP. So I want to do a basic scan. So packet 11 here, we are sending a SYN packet over to port 22 on our target. And because it's open, it's responding with a SYN ACK. And then right away, that connection is closed. Let's continue on with the process of detecting the version. But in order to do that, we do need to establish a connection. So we go through that again. We do a SYN ACK, beautiful. And as soon as that connection is established, very similar to what we saw with netcat to port 21, where the banner has been grabbed, we can see right here that that data is visible. Let's expand our windows here and look at the byte window. Right here, we can see some clear text traffic that's actually literally stating the version of the service on the other side on our target machine. NMAP is happy. It says, well, my user only asked for the version. I have got the version. Well, let's go ahead and close that connection. And bing, bang, boom, we have our connection closed right here on packets 19 and 20. Okay, just to prove a point, let's bring back our netcat and change the port. Now let's see what happens when I run it with just netcat. Beautiful. Very simple banner grab has occurred here. Okay, that is literally that target machine saying, hey, thanks for joining us. While you're here, you're going to be dealing with this particular piece of software. There you go. Thanks for coming. And a similar thing is going to happen for all of the machines on your network. That's what versioning does.